welcome back to another night at the pigsty with our wonderful friend Richard. We will be going through again Revelations tonight. Everybody knows what the crack is. Richard, standard formality. Go on, let all the new people know who you are, what you do, and how you're into this.
If you take a hardcore atheist and you give them a Bible with no presuppositions, insanity happens. Hi, my name's Richard Madsen. That happened to me. I have a channel where I do regular shows and I talk about this. And recently I'm getting into debate. Now, I have had one debate. The debates are going to be mirrored to my channel, but they're going to be on JG's channel, which is called Certainty Exists dash JG. I have had one. I have had one debate. I'm really looking for more educated and academic people to debate with. Mm-hmm. So the premise is the following: the ancient religious stories are speaking of very, very ancient, fully developed human beings, which are space travelers, and that justifies how we got here. And I think it can be justified within the religious stories as well, that's what those stories are talking about. If you know someone who knows what they're talking about concerning Old and New Testament, understands something about the language and the culture, and would like to debate me, or is a logician, is big on logic, would like to debate me, I'd love to invite that into my little corner of the world.
Yeah, that wasn't a really informative debate that you had last time. That much.
Not really informative. Oh, that's a nice way to say it.
Yeah, I didn't get much from it. Like, I left after about 20 minutes. I was like, fuck this shit. I'm sorry, Richard.
To let you all in on the joke, someone brought the following debate topic that I am claiming my not yet finished, impossible to get peer reviewed translation of the Bible is well verified by scholars and theologians. But what I'd actually said is, I'm using standard stuff to write this. And that standard stuff is well accepted by theologians and scholars and et cetera, et cetera. So they didn't understand my statement. They brought that to the debate. It was a mess. That's
what they did, though. They did the same with me. We discussed the title. We were happy on the title. We went with the title. This is the title of the debate. And then during the debate, just denied ever having what and didn't know what the topic was.
Yeah. I mean, I mirrored it to my channel out of honesty. It's not worth a view. It's not. It's a mess.
So, well, on that note, on a higher, nice, slightly more appreciative note of having a good conversation, nice discussion on these sort of things. Richard, you should be able to see this now, yeah?
I can. Yes, thank you.
I'm going to swap over here so everyone else should be able to see it. There we go. And my mic's a little low. Sorry, I'll give it a wee boost. I'm talking away from the mic. I have it. Boop, boop, boop. It's hard to get a good position for a mic unless it's right in front of you. And when you have 5 screens and the desk's so far away, it's fucking hard to have a mic in front of you. Hi,
I've got so much
Maya.
Equipment.
I've got so much equipment, I can't handle all this.
Hi, hello, everybody. Hello, Maya. Hello, poor Granda. James getting ready for bed. We've got Darg out there. Always, yeah, you're picking on the computer. Darg helps me with the computer, so you're picking on him too. Logan, Nerdy. Nerdy's here as well. Alien Overlords, you know. Yeah, so Richard, I will hand over to you. Hold on.
Where am I to start? At the highlighted area?
Yeah, that's where we ended last time. Right, try that on the audio.
That's good. It's real good from where I sit.
It's fine for you, though. Everybody should be seeing.
Okay. Who shall not fear thee, O Lord, and glorify thy name? For thou only art holy. For all nations shall come and worship before thee, for thy judgments are made manifest. That is, we're completing end times, something like that. You see anything else there?
No. I think we were 4 or 5, somewhere around that. I think you said that we ended there because it was a change in topic or something like that. Better. Good job.
Right.
So yeah, 5, 6, 7. Knock yourself
Okay.
out. Round up the chapter.
Okay. And after that I looked, and behold, behold means to understand, not just to peek at something. The temple of the tabernacle of the testimony in heaven was opened. Opened meaning you can understand it now, where you couldn't before.
Mm-hmm.
And the 7 angels came out of the temple, having the 7 plagues, clothed in pure and white linen, and having their breasts girded with golden girdles. So here we are back to the picture at the beginning of it, with Jesus Christ dressed this same way. And of course white linen being, the righteousness of the saints, etc., like that. And one of the 4 beasts gave unto the 7 angels 7 golden vials, full of the wrath of God, who liveth forever and ever. And the temple was filled with the smoke of the glory of God, and from his power. And no man was able to enter into the temple till the 7 plagues of the 7 angels were fulfilled. All right, I'd like to justify that little bit right there. The reason that no one goes into the temple is because the temple is talking, and the high priest and all these terms, is talking about Jesus. So Jesus gets to be the primary enterer into that high holy place, i.e. his heaven. So it's kind of like a privilege thing. Everyone who ascends up in these ascensions is in the basement of God's heaven. Then Jesus goes into his own heaven first, and everybody follows him in. It's a tradition, I guess.
Could I ask that point of clarification? When you say Jesus is heaven, what you're saying is his own personal moon-sized spaceship that we're all getting. Yeah, just be maybe easier if you say his spaceship.
Would you happen to know? Yeah, his spaceship. Would you happen to know how big across the moon is? I looked it up one time, but I forget.
Yeah. I know exactly how wide it is across.
Go ahead.
1 moon width across. Just 1.
That's what I love about this guy. It's precisely 1 Earth moon. Okay. I mean, that was pretty exacting. Thank you for that. It was accurate.
Don't let anyone ever tell you I'm a liar.
No, you're definitely not. That was spot on. So from the comment section, if anyone wanted to go and see how wide, the diameter, not the circumference, not the radius, but the diameter is, I'd love to know that. Because it's easy for me to say right now, yeah, it's about moon-sized, but that may not be true. The smallest portions of heaven are 1,500 miles across. That might be smaller than the moon. It might be considerably smaller than the moon. I can't tell.
3,500 kilometers according to Dard.
Can you do that in miles? Because I translated the 12,000 furlongs into miles. I should have done it in kilometers too, but I'm lazy and I'm an American.
Just as a personal little story, the other night, Elena was here and woke me up at the top of the stairs, and she wanted to tell me a story. She went to bed and she told me this story about, what the fuck, man, 3:30 in the morning, right? And I say this because we're talking about circles and diameters, right? And her friend they're writing numbers in the snow, right? They're doing playing numbers in the snow, and Elena writes down 100, right? Because that's the biggest number that she can count to at the minute. 5 is 100, so she writes down 100, and then her friend keeps writing 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and just keeps writing 1 and 1 and 1 until Elena stops her, because according to Elena, this number doesn't make sense, right?
Oh, okay.
And I said to her that it's something like an infinity. And she goes, no, because you told me they go on forever, Daddy. I stopped this one. I was like, right. Okay. Then I was being a wee bit of a cocky cunt, and I was like, well, technically, if it can go on forever, but it has an end, honey, it's called an irrational number. I was starting to talk and all. So long story short, she asked me what my favourite irrational number one is, which technically is tau. But I'm not going to explain tau, tell her that's 2 pi. I just told her what pi was. So she now remembers, and I tested her the night on the phone, she still remembers, although she forgot the second one. It's 3.14159, and she goes 3.1459. Because she now knows that's Daddy's
That's not bad.
And she remembers it's called pie because it's to do with circles and it looks like a pie.
Very good. That is great. That is great. Taking, what do they call them? Memory hooks, where you take something the person already has and you build on that. You can hang. Now that's an infinitely strong hook right there. It can hold any amount of weight. There's no number of ideas you can't pile on top of that. That's good job, Dad.
I just thought it was hilarious. This isn't an infinity. I stopped this one.
That is, I mean, literal. She's right. She stopped it.
So back to Revelations and all that from me rambling on. But what is the plagues? So what was my question was going to be at the very start. What would you consider to be the plagues? And it says that the plagues must be fulfilled. So what are the plagues and how must you fulfill them?
Okay, I'm not going to describe them because the text is about to, right?
Okay.
And I don't want to ruin the next episode or the end of this one.
Right.
But the plagues are a gradualistic way of making life on Earth harder and harder and harder in a metered fashion.
So it's restarting the story again.
No, it's not the announcing miracles. The plagues are things like literal mice. Well, that's a pain in the ass. Literal mice everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And like literal hemorrhoids. Well, that's even more of a pain in the ass.
I remember you talking about hemorrhoids before, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe, did you get your cream sorted? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, the burning and itching. But, so what they're doing is they're trying to put more and more and more pressure gradually on people throughout the last 3.5 years. I think it's the most beneficial thing to do without absolutely forcing people, but
Really?
It ain't very nice.
There is definitely better ways of doing this.
Like what? Show up in the sky? They already did that. Let you meet an angel? They already did that.
Right, I understand what they've already done, but we've already discussed that they could show kindness.
Yes, they do.
No. Hemorrhoids and mice and torture for 3.5 years is not one nice thing in 3 years of it is not good. Like.
They also send somebody that looks just like everybody else. He's not 8 foot tall. He doesn't have any wings. Got a bunch of folks walking around with him. They split up. They try to talk to many people as possible. Trying to go, hey, look, this is the deal. I know it's weird. I know it's super weird. I know it's not what you were expecting. But dang it, man. We've been hearing this story throughout the world for, millennia. How about you adapt?
No, you see, this is the problem, right? They haven't been hearing this story for a millennia. Okay?
No,
they've heard.
No, what I mean, I didn't mean it like that. I mean, you have ancient religions. You know these stories. And when Jesus goes around and to all these people groups and says, look, this is what it meant the whole time.
Okay.
And go ahead and take your ascension, and you can just get away from all this crap.
Okay, well, whenever I'm going to use an extreme example, right? I'm going to go full-blown extreme here.
Yeah.
Right? I think the word that I'm looking for, it's not conspirator. It's when someone of one side who's being picked on or whatever, or being subjugated, then swaps sides and helps out the other side, right? So
A turncoat?
Turncoat would be but there's something that begins with C, I think, that is the proper word for it, but I can't remember what it is. Anyway, to use an extreme example, right? You have Jews in the Second World War who teamed up with the Nazis, who and how do you think that the Jews looked upon them and went, oh, they're cool because they're dead? No, it didn't go down that way, and it doesn't usually go down that way. When someone swaps side, collaborator. Thank you. Yeah, that's what they would be seeing. You're thinking that it'll help, and I think, and in this sense, it'll be a collaborator. Because they're sitting being tortured with rats and hemorrhoids. They're unable to sit down, and the guy in front of them saying, "But it's fine. These people are nice." This guy just had a privilege to go look at a new spaceship. You know? He's being treated better than everybody else.
I think that some of this for me is faith, you know.
I would say so.
I cannot show that this is the best possible way to handle things. I can't show that. Okay?
I can show that it's
I'm
not.
trusting the angels on that one.
I can say that it's not the best way to do it. Because
don't
forcing
know.
anyone and torturing people, by definition, is not a good thing.
But you're speaking of it like that's the first thing they do.
And you're speaking of it as the end justifies the means.
Yes, I am. It's very mechanical and not very sweet. I understand. Look, not at all levels is this going to be a numbers game, but at some level this is a numbers game.
The only reason, right, that I can give that these aliens do this is because it's probably the most efficient. If you wanted to convert an awful lot of people and you wanted to do it very, very fast, and you wanted to instill upon them how fucking strong and powerful you are, then this is the way to do it.
I can't agree or disagree. I don't know.
I know you don't know,
I mean,
but I'm asking you on your opinion and not taking into account what you think about the aliens or what knowledge has been given upon you by them or what about them. I am asking you to look at human nature and look what has happened in the past. Because as you keep saying, Jesus is one of us, he's not an 8-foot guy and all the rest of it. So human nature being talked to by other humans. And I'm asking your opinion on that.
It seems a little bit practical, and it seems like it's not overly patient or sweet. So
Don't say not sweet. Say fucking horrible. Use the negative. Say the bad thing.
No, I do think it's going to be harsh for the people experiencing it. I
Then
do. I mean,
use
it's
these
one of the
words and-
things.
Use these
It's one of
words
the
and be
reasons
honest.
I'm so compelled to talk about it.
Okay, well, when you talk about it, don't say not sweet. Because not sweet and having hemorrhoids for 3.5 years are not the same. Not sweet is
Technically,
as
you could only have hemorrhoids for the last 1.5 years. But
Okay, sorry. But you just use the negative. Describe it as it is seen to the people. Don't try and sugarcoat it.
yeah, I'm not. I'm using my family's sense of sarcasm to say not sweet. Like, it's going to be hard. It's going to be rough. Seriously, it's not nice.
Yeah, and if it's gonna hurt, just fucking tell me.
Yeah, well, okay. For those who stay to past, I'd say, past the first year of the second half, they're not going to love it. They're going to freaking hate it. And they're going to be pissed as hell.
It's gonna be so much more than that. I feel your words.
I don't know what else to say. I mean, I could hit some nerve endings if you want me to. It's in the text. They're going to start eating their own children.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Discuss
You know what
that.
it takes to get a human to eat their own child?
A hypothetical situation has not happened. Human nature. We're awful. We're bastards.
It takes a lot.
Hi,
Like,
Jody.
you've got to be out of options.
I don't know where there is an option. Like I could never do that. Like, oh,
People
for
are
a point-
going to.
For a point, Dargs just pointed out. Why would you eat your child when there's all these mice around?
They're easier to catch.
There's so many mice.
Dude, the mice don't last forever. They run out of food too.
Nerdy Rodent is not happy. I think they want us to go back to eating our own children.
Eat your kids, leave us mice alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel in your description. Whoa, I feel in your descriptions you use the nice thing. You know, I don't feel like I feel if you're going to be honest about it, you're going to talk about it, and you want people to understand what's happening. Like if you say to someone, it's just not going to be great, then they're still going to think, fuck the aliens, I'm going to stay here. I can put up with something that's not that great. Where if you were honest with them and said, if you stay, you're going to end up eating your own kids, right? I'll go.
Yeah, by the end of it, that'd be right. Yeah.
I'm just saying, when you're describing it, say spaceship. When you're describing it, say eat the babies.
Well,
you know.
I don't know why people can't do the logic themselves. If it's not going to rain for 3.5 years, and you're in a nuclear winter because of a volcano, how easy could it be?
But you see, this is the thing, Richard, okay? If you sit down with someone and you say that to them and give them the time to think about it. Is my audio okay when I lean back like this?
No, it's been okay.
And you give them the time. I know I'm not asking you, it's it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you get a different feed. That's it. That's all. You just get a different feed.
I forgot.
Oh, fucking lost my trail of thought, you motherfucker.
You're the one who started that.
Yeah, go on.
Okay. You were saying that what I'd said last was, after in a nuclear winter and it hasn't rained in
there you go. Okay. So you ask these people the question, you sit down with them and you give them time to think about it. And you will have to, okay, ask them slightly leading questions to lead them down this path so that they will think about it. What people will do when you mention a thing is jump straight to the end. Because that's what you're doing with your stories. You're like, this shit's happening, but we're going to leave in a spaceship. You skip to the end. So people's logical step is to skip to the end without having a time to be led down this route. So I understand when you say, why do people not think about this? Have not been given the chance and haven't been asked to think about that. You spend a lot of time thinking about this. So when you see a car, you know everything about that car. You've thought about the wheels, you've thought about this, you've thought about that. You ask most people on the street, what car do they drive? They'll say the blue one. They don't
True
know.
Story.
But if you sit down with that person, they'll learn how to change a tire. They'll learn how to change their water. It's not that they're stupid. It's the blue one.
I think you make a great point, and this is why I try to have as much free time as possible for individual conversations with anyone who wants to have them.
You have been slutting all over YouTube this last week.
I'm telling you.
I have seen you everywhere.
I'm a huge whore because this is important to me.
I understand that, and I'm trying to help you. But what I'm saying is, if you changed your wordage, use the words of what the descriptors that they are directly, people will get there a whole lot quicker. I had to stop.
You're probably right.
And question you on what heaven was for the audience to explain to people. When he says heaven, he don't mean heaven, he means spaceship. I'm doing your job for you. We had to stop. We talked about it. If you just went straight forward and went, he get into the spaceship, people would be like, hold on. And they'd ask more relevant questions, and people would use the language that they're used to, which is spaceship and aliens, rather than God and Yahweh and Adam and all this bollocks. Talk to the people in the language that they understand.
See, but here's the problem. But if I say the perfect constitution, they won't associate that to Yod He Vav He.
I have no idea what any of that is. None of it.
And if I say spaceship, they're not going to associate that to heaven. So I need to say both.
Yeah. Okay.
But you will say spaceship heaven.
But you will say, when you say heaven, it causes issues. Then people go, blah, 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 you say spaceship. Then they have to think about it, and they're all, holy fuck, he's an alien guy. What's going on here? Blah,
yeah,
blah,
I'm
blah,
an
blah.
aliens guy, yeah.
Where if you start with spaceship and then just go, I think it's heaven. It's a hell of a lot easier to go from spaceship to he thinks this is heaven than just say heaven and assume spaceship.
Yeah, I don't see a perfect way to approach this, but I see your point.
Yeah, I don't know. Yes, there you go. Dark says speak to him in German. He'll understand you better.
Really? I know enough German to piss off somebody who actually knows the language. That's how much German I know.
I don't know. A lot of people walking around work shouting kurwa this week. It's Polish for... It's not a nice word in Polish.
Okay.
We have a lot of Polish boys at work, and it's been a very busy week. You just walk up the cutting line, and all you hear is "Kurwa, kurwa!" Everybody's fucking pissed off. Anyway, Revelation 16.
Yeah, we're now on 16. We made it all the way there so far. Amazing.
Yeah, that only took a half hour. It wasn't too bad.
Yeah, yeah. And I meant from the beginning of the book. But and I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the 7 angels, "Go your ways and pour out the vials of the wrath of God upon the earth."
Okay, can I stop you there? Can you describe the
You already
wrath
did.
of God?
Okay, okay, a lot of Christians will say wrath of God is him flexing his right arm to show you how big the muscle is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's horrible, and that's might makes right, and that's wrong, and it's not benevolent.
It's
Okay?
seriously exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, it's seriously not what he's doing.
No,
But what it is, since you asked me, I'll answer if you'll let. What it actually is over the course of 3.5 years, making it harder and harder on the people to refuse the spaceship's heaven. And of course, you know, in a gradualistic paradigm, they're welcome to leave the planet anytime they want. And there's nothing gentle about the plagues. How's that? So it's aggressive persuasion. It's not punishment.
aggressive persuasion is literally might makes right.
Yeah, fine. Okay, it's might makes right, but it's not just beating them up for no reason. It's to get them to accept heaven.
Right.
Where the Christians
this
is God just beating them up.
Richard, Richard.
Yeah.
You were saying they are beating them up to get them into heaven. Now,
Yeah.
that's what you're saying because you can see end picture. You think the ends justifies the means and all that, right?
Sure. I'm okay with that, actually.
What's happening to everybody else's point of view is a completely different turn of phrase. Okay? When you say they're being aggressively persuaded to go to heaven. Okay?
Yeah.
I would disagree that is, that's your description. But if I said they're being tortured until they give in and go away and
to
do
heaven.
what they're told, but no, spaceship man. Because
go
you
to
say
spaceship
okay,
heaven, sorry.
when you say heaven, that has a good connotation with it. Heaven is where all the good people go. Heaven is the wonderful place. Heaven is joy. Heaven is all of these things. There's a word. There's a whole fucking history of shit that goes with the word heaven.
Yeah.
Okay? People are not going to see this as heaven.
Okay.
Alright? People are going to see this as a fucking spaceship run by malevolent aliens who have come down and tortured us for 7 years. And the option to go live with them in our own little personal spaceship, I get to hang around with all the people from Earth. If I want to talk to people from Fluvar, I can take a wee jump over to the other ship or whatever. But they have their own space and they're like, yes, that's wonderful. And that's, when we get there, it's going to be brilliant. But how many fucking people in the past, how many leaders and dictators in the past have tortured people and said it's for your own benefit because the state and everything else will be wonderful afterwards?
Yeah, that's describing a dictator.
Yeah, there's more correlations
it.
with dictatorship than there is with heaven.
I get it. You're right.
Sorry if I'm being a wee bit louder, just...
No, it's okay. It's just that you're absolutely right. That to the perspective of those still on the earth stubbornly trying to stay on a planet that's going to be destroyed. There's no saving the earth. Sorry, all you Greenpeace people. I'm sorry, but it's not going to get saved. That's not
Listen
the
to
plan.
this, Bree.
The plan is to melt it and suck everything off it that's worth having, including the carbon from the burnt bodies.
Yeah, I know. Might makes right, man. Come with us or die. Do what you're told. Take the torture. Now come and worship me. This does not.
I mean, I'll say it as harshly as I can.
aggressively persuaded to join heaven when you
What do you want me
just
to say?
agreed that a dictatorship is a better description of it is not coming across as most honest
How
as you
about
can.
how about if I say it like this? Semi-violent coercion.
You
Is that
should
better?
just no. It's torture, man.
That's what semi-violent coercion is you can say
Oh
torture.
yeah, I know you're being semantic and playing in words, so it comes across lighter to people. Be fucking
No,
honest.
I'm not. I'm saying that as harshly as I know how.
People don't.
If I
know.
go any further, it's inaccurate.
Right. Well, you should describe it to people in the way they understand.
I try. I fail a lot.
You know.
I'm trying
It's-
to.
I would describe it as a good dictatorship. What you're trying to put across is a good dictatorship, right? At the end of it, it's all going to be good, and I can prove it because, you know.
Well, I mean, we may as well face the facts. What's described in the Bible is true communism.
I haven't read
and there
Marx yet,
is. What's that?
I says I haven't read Marx yet, so I don't know. I haven't read the manifesto, so I can't.
Oh,
agree
it's
with
it's
you.
like the perfect communism, and it's not political at all.
Oh, well, I there's the running American meme. You know, Jesus is a commie. We've all heard that, but I can't confirm or deny any of that. You know, and
The only difference between like how we've done communism and spaceship heaven is that everybody lives in the castle. That's the only, so there's not even a possibility of hoarding wealth or privilege. That can't be there.
Okay, man. In heaven, everybody gets to live in a castle. Right, let's take that statement. Everybody who's in heaven gets to live in a castle. So, from your perspective, that means everybody who has been tortured and subjugated, everyone who's laid down and done what they're told, all of these things, and you describe it as a castle. We have the entire world's population to fit inside a moon-sized planet or moon-sized ship. Oh, guess what? We don't have that population anymore because everybody else was fucking killed.
What? I don't
people-
follow.
You're saying everybody gets a castle. That's not everybody on the planet. That's only the survivors. That's only the people who agreed. And you're fitting all these people inside a smaller area. World's population ain't going to fit in the moon. So
What?
nobody's going to have a castle.
I said, first of all, I didn't say everyone gets their own castle. I said everyone lives in the castle.
Okay.
That's
that
what I
might have been
said.
my fault.
That's okay. Language happens. And I don't know about this population problem per the size. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, a
actually.
certain amount of people take up a certain amount of space, and when you shrink everyone
Sure.
down, the point I was making is if everyone got a castle, a massive house, and all the rest of it, it would take up more room rather than just fitting them all in one thing, which you corrected for me because you said the castle rather than
Yeah.
everyone getting a castle.
Yeah, and I mean, in practicality, I mean, I'm a little bit under 6 feet tall, and I'm absolutely fine with an 8-foot ceiling. Of course, I can't fly, you know. If I could fly, I'd like 20-foot ceilings. Then I'd have room to fly, right? I can't see any practical reason why floors in heaven would be more than, say, about 1/8 of a mile across. I mean, in between floors, 1/8 of a mile in elevation between floors. And if that were so, that would be, hold on a second, I got to do some quick math and I'm bad at it. 75 times 8. What's 75 times 8 roughly? Just rough it out.
75 times 2 is 150. Times that by 4, you get 600.
600. There's the answer. So, if it was a cube instead of a sphere, and please don't ask me to do that math.
How do you
And the
cube a
floors-
sphere?
You just assume it's a cube because you're bad at math, okay?
Borg
But
style.
if you want, if you
your
wanted to
gods
figure
have
out
now
that-
became Borg, okay?
okay, you're a math guy. I'm not. Okay, if you want to do the math on figuring this out, it'd be fine with me. Take a sphere 1,500 miles across, right? Put every floor 1/8 of a mile from the last floor, so you got 600 floors. and figure out the square footage and add all that up together. I'm going to do it as a cube, which is wrong, but I'm going to do it as a cube.
I need a piece of paper.
That would cover the Earth 600 times, including the oceans. Okay? So when you say 8 billion people or less would be some kind of crowded inside something 1,500 miles across, I'm just like, you don't know what that 1,500 miles is.
You clarified this way back at the start, and my problem was everybody getting a castle. Everybody getting that much amount of space and room would cause issues. Having these people in the designated space that you've designated is not a problem if everybody lives moderately. But if everybody gets a castle, it's going to double up on all the room, triple up, and it's going to take more. You clarified that at the start. Okay.
All right, never mind all that then. But if you wanted to do the math so I had a real number to work with, that'd be great. Because I'm tired of the bad quote.
The point I'm making, Richard, is the population is smaller. It's not everybody who gets to live in a castle, a castle, whatever the fuck. It's the survivors, the collaborators, the people who decided it's better to do what I'm told than to die. That's not much of a choice.
Plus, all the history of every human being who was ever on the earth who accepts heaven in the moment. Plus all those.
Pardon?
Well, the total population has now been something around 111 billion, actually.
If you consider everybody who's been around ever alive and not dying.
Well, all the living and all the dead ever add up to about 111 billion,
Right. So that's the people that's going to... There's going to be zombies walking around during this last 3 years.
Well, if you're Christian, you probably believe that. But what the text says is these people will be recreated into heaven.
So what, they get an instant pass to heaven because they've died?
Well, they can reject it. You know, an angel could kill themselves.
Okay, that's a different thing. We're not talking about angels. We're talking about a person who has been resurrected.
Yeah, they don't get a choice about being there, but they could leave.
Okay. How?
I don't know. They could off themselves. They might get their own spaceship and just fly away. They might. I don't know all the ways they could leave.
Okay, you have a dead body in the ground with like DNA that has broken apart. Now you can say that these aliens are fantastic and they can put it back together again, but we can't tell in what order to put it back again. And I dare you to fucking show me that they have wonderful technology that they can tell exactly how a pattern was in the past after it's broke up. Okay, they
recorded it while the person was alive. They're older than we are, you know. They're older than we are. They were
according to you, they seeded the earth. So yeah, I would guess that their species is slightly older than us and considerably live. I think you said to 5,000 to 10,000 years, or immortal. Was it immortal? No. The difference. There's a difference between immortality and being immortal.
And eternality.
Yeah. So they just keep
going.
going.
There's a difference between immortality and eternality because there's a start point to eternality. And
well, there's being immortal. And I think me, you, and Sammy had this conversation before. There's a difference between, in my opinion, immortal and immortality. Like, I can chop your head off and you don't die, then you've got immortality. Or, you know, being immortal just means that you can live till something fucking kills you.
That's why I like the word eternal.
I can see that. So, these beings are eternal.
Yeah.
So they're watching every single person in the world.
Recording everything about every single living human being everywhere in the universe. Yeah.
Onto a database.
Some kind of collection of data. Yeah, some kind of record.
So it'll be a fair point to say and a fair idea to say that up in me in heaven, me in spaceship, mothership as I'm going to call it, there is possibly a room quantum computing, you know, there's a whole thing I seen the day. Oh, we created a wormhole inside a quantum computer. No, you didn't. Shut up. You're fucking clickbait. But, you know, quantum computing, okay? Shrinking it down to that size. It's still, to track all of us, going to be absolutely massive.
Yep.
Like I did see one to run a simulation of the world as big as this and have all the information that we have on a server this size, to track all the information for everybody, is something around the size of a basic planet, like an Earth-sized planet. Quantum computing, I'm going to take that and cut it in four, right?
Okay.
Just for talk's sake, we're being arbitrary. Still going to be a big-ass, huge computer. You're never going to fit
a lot.
that inside your hand, you know? So the sub-basement of the mothership is just a big-ass memory scanner thing that's scanning all of us.
I'm kind of inspired by the idea, actually. I don't know where the storage is. It doesn't literally say.
Okay, but you would plausibly agree that this is plausible.
Yeah, I would agree. There's nothing logically defeating about it, and there's nothing that is that the idea would be inconsistent with the text. Of course, it doesn't speak much about it.
But you have to, like, do you believe that they are technologically advanced?
Yeah, at the beginning of this planet, say what's the estimate right now? Something about 2.3 billion years ago, they were already a Class 4 Kardashev civilization.
Technologically wise, I think it goes up to Class 5, isn't it? Class 5 is Dyson spheres and all that shit. 7. I know what you're talking about, right? Other people might not. It's a description of when you move out into space and further on, and how you can control things and stuff. But you're basing this in technology. This is the whole thing about your religion and your idea, is that it's a technology that they have and not magic. What they do is based in science and based in reality.
Sure.
Right. Well, they have to store this somewhere. They're not writing it down in paper. Do you believe that each person gets a person and they spend their life just staring at them and writing shit down? I would say that you would agree that this is being done by a computer.
It might be stored in a computer, but the field work is being done by individuals, apparently.
So there is an individual person watching each person.
Yeah, they got plenty of angels to do that, no problem.
Oh yeah, they've loads of people. Go and do what you're fucking told and spend your life watching this other man's life so you don't have a life of your own. That's wonderful. Ends justifies the means right there.
Only for about 80 years, and only while they're awake.
Only for 80 years and only while you're awake. That's worse than what we have it now. Now we only have to do 9 to 5.
What? Yeah, they work harder than you. That's right.
Yes. Oh, no. I love the way you worded that. They work harder than me. They literally didn't have a choice to be there. Okay? Their only other choice was death.
I don't know if that's true, but okay.
These people who are now watching. So their only other option was death on their previous planet, or come and join this empire. They've came and joined the empire because it's wonderful here. You get to spend all this time in heaven and everything's great. And then 1,000 years down the line, where you've been living for 1,000 years and had a couple of kids and everything's wonderful, they come and tell you that every moment you're awake for the next 80 years, you have to watch another guy. You have to watch another guy shit. You have to watch another guy with his girlfriend. You have to watch him sit there.
We're like taking it to an extreme, but it might be 5 minutes per hour, 24 hours. It's hard to say.
Well, okay, 5 minutes per hour every 24 hours. How the hell are you going to build a complete person from that?
I said 5 minutes out of our perception of 24 hours. I mean, how much prayer does it take to get caught up from yesterday?
How much information does it require to know who I am?
What, 5 minutes at a time?
You can't. You could not watch a person for 5 minutes every 24 hours. And at the end of 20 years, with the information that you have, replicate who they are. You couldn't. You'd
I
need to
don't
be
think that's
watching them.
exactly what I'm trying to say. I think there'd have to be a lot of time invested up front until they get to a certain level of maturity, and then you could just take updates.
I think you're trying to avoid what you're smart enough to know what I'm trying to do.
I'm not trying to avoid anything.
Do you genuinely think that these angels are spending how much time? Answer that directly. How much they're watching this person constantly, not constantly?
Well, from what I can tell, it's variable because a person could pray and get the attention of an angel, right? And then the angel could be observing them. They're purposefully paying attention to the person. And how much time would be devoted between those two individuals so that the angel could collect data and store in whatever storage, maybe themselves, I don't even know. All the information necessary to reconstruct that person and all their personality and experiences and opinions and feelings?
No way.
Well, okay, there's no way. Fine. This is non-negotiable. I'll stop talking.
No, I'm just from my like. You genuinely think that watching someone for a couple of minutes a day, you can discern who they are and replicate them? Because that's the whole point of this. All right. The whole start of this conversation where these people are being brought back. Okay?
Man, I don't know how you change so rapidly, but I'm basically the same every day.
You're the same every day now, man. After 50, 60 years, you've fallen into a pattern. You do these things, and this is who you are.
Right.
I know my wee girl loves math, and I know that she's into that, and her school says she does really well. I did not think that she was going to get up at 3:30 in the fucking morning and talk to me about fucking pi. You know, there's these small things that you would miss if you only watch for 5 minutes a day. Now, I can understand once people get set in their patterns.
What do you mean only watch for 5 minutes a day? I said it would take them maybe 5 minutes a day. I didn't say watch for 5 minutes a day.
It would take them 5 minutes a day to do what?
Perhaps. To take an update.
To update who we are.
To update the entire experience they'd had in the last 24 hours might take 5 minutes of their time. I don't know.
How do you update it without having a computer that's watched it? You are not. You have to be.
The human was there with their experience the whole time.
Should we just jump into their brain?
Yeah, I mean, you store you, don't you?
Yeah, I store me and I have access to me. But if someone else wants access to me, what you're now saying, if I'm understanding correctly, 5 minutes a day, someone pops down, puts a technological invisible probe into their brain, downloads the last 24 hours, pisses off back again.
It's not impossible. I don't know, though.
I know it's not impossible. I'm trying to clarify on what you're explaining. It's not a computer. You think there's field work. So if the people are watching every day, you don't think they're watching 24 hours, you think it takes 5 minutes work. So I'm trying to discern what you think is happening, not what you know is happening. What you think is happening.
Okay. A person has their experience. They're storing up their experience. They get to some certain age and they kind of fall into habits and not much changes except for new experiences here and there. There could be some major change in them, but that's fairly unusual. It doesn't happen every day that there's major changes in a person. And if maybe the angel devotes absolutely every one of their waking hours for 80 years, and one angel has to do that one-on-one for each one person. First of all, it's not a big investment of time for an angel. Second of all, would it be worth it? Well, it sounds like it's really cumbersome, but I don't know. Maybe they think we're important. It sure looks like they think we're important, and it's worth it, even if it's a huge pain in the ass. On the other end of that scale, I could say something like, I think I could, really deeply know somebody till they're about 16, 17 years old, and I've got a pretty good baseline, and that's who they are, and then just take updates every day. And how long does an update take? Well, if I think of it, if I did a comparison between a laptop and all of Windows and, you know, all the Google stuff and all the rest of crap that I got on this thing. What's an update take? That's not much.
Right. Okay. You're, in my opinion, from the way I am, I have got no information from you. You're just telling me that they're performing an update, and I'm asking you, how do you think they do that? Do they pop in,
through prayer,
look at the person at 7 or 8 p.m. at night, sitting on the sofa after work going, yeah, nothing's changed, ticked a few boxes, put that away? Or do they actually come in and download from the person's brain? Because you said about me remembering me, so are they accessing my mind? How are they performing this update? Visually?
Oh, they claim to access the mind, and colloquially it's called prayer.
Accessing my mind and downloading my information is called prayer.
Yeah.
So yes to the download.
Yeah.
So they're coming down 5 minutes a day, right now, today, in this experience today. Either I am going to have a visit by an alien, or have had a visit by an alien, who is going to invisibly come down and download my memory into...
I don't know, maybe this is what dreams are.
Okay, right. So where's this information stored? In their handheld device, digitized? You would agree that it's not biologically stored in each individual's memory. You would agree that it's stored in some sort of data device.
I don't know that that's necessary. You suggested it, and I said it could be possible. But I don't know that there's a limit to how much a human being could learn, or an angel could learn about a human being. I'm not sure their brain would get crowded, per se. So I don't see any reason why it couldn't be biologically stored. Although you suggested it could be mechanically stored, and I'm like, yeah, maybe.
Okay,
I don't know.
Biologically stored. We'll go with that. Right, it's biologically stored. We're going to make you an 8-foot alien angel that has photographic memory on absolutely everything and never forgets, and it doesn't cause you any headaches. And you spent the last 80 years, you know, say 200 years ago, you watched me, right? Farming the fields and all that shit. I'm now dead and in the ground. You've arrived back, and your job was to check Robbie MathPig, right? And the man, you have to stand in queue and all, and he pulls up, and it's like, right, we're going to resurrect Robbie MathPig now, yeah. Can I, Richard, you're the one that was following him, can I have the information? You're like, yeah, it's all stored in my brain.
Yep.
How does it get out of your brain to recreate another body? There must be a technique.
I think that when they get to an age where that would be okay with them, which they've been briefed about it their whole physical life in heaven. You know, from the time they were born, this was always the deal. So they'd be okay with it. Then when there's some kind of probably like a rite of passage at some certain age, say maybe that's the reason for 13 years of age, and then they pray to you again and just give you back.
Hold on, start again. Right, I'm confused because I looked at the chat because Sammy caught my eye about something and it made me think and I lost my trail of thought. If I can ask the question, maybe you can start again for me, right? When you pull up in your queue and they go to recreate me and you've got the information stored in your brain, how do you get that information of who I am into a new physical body? Okay,
I'll use proper nouns. Okay, so I'm your storage of your life, and you're
going
dead.
the biological route that you believe. I would say it would have to be computer, but yes.
I'm not sure, but I'm not sure it matters either. Where was I? Oh yeah, okay. I say, okay, we've gotten to the point where we're back to four generations ago. The people who were dead 200 years ago, time to restore them.
Yeah,
We've got viable ovum and womb. We're recreating them. I need their code. But I'm your storage device. I have your code. I know your code. Your genetic code. Everything that is exactly what you are right now. The science guy in the lab and I pray to each other. Because I dang sure ain't writing that stuff out, and neither is he. And he recreates that physical protein code, the backbone, the phosphates, all that crap, whatever the hell it's made out of. And he literally puts that into a physical egg and puts it back in the person, which they stripped out everything that's not you out of the egg. Okay, 9 months later, we got a Robbie. All right? We have perfectly physically Robbie. Now Robbie's growing up in heaven, and he doesn't remember being on the earth. He's just a baby. He's just a kid. But the whole time Robbie's growing up, we say, look, Robbie, here's the deal. You've had all these really cool experiences, but we need you to be able to be a regulator in heaven and a reminder of how horrible life can be if people mess up. So here's what we're asking of you, is that we give you all your memories from a life you had before, this reincarnation thing. We're gonna give you all the memories from your prior life, and you're gonna remember things you didn't even know existed. And I guess I would assume that it would probably be normalized by then. You can call, well, that's too much indoctrination, persuasion, or what. You can look at it however you want. But then I guess on average the person agrees to that. Then they sit down in a ritualistic connection of prayer.
Right. When you
By
say
the way,
prayer, okay, when you say prayer, for the people in the audience, would you just say Vulcan mind meld?
Okay, so they agree on Vulcan mind melding, okay? And it's some kind of a rite of becoming an adult in heaven. And all of Robbie is restored back to the physical flesh, recreation of Robbie.
The idea of oneself, that's a different version of Robbie. That's not the Robbie. Pardon?
I know, it's tough.
It's not tough. It's got a fucking name and everything, and it's a problem in philosophy. I think that me and fucking Reds recently watching, again, I love this show, The Good Place. And they're breaking it down and going through that about 4 episodes ago. They got the idea of oneself. That exact thing happened. They lived 300 cycles in fake heaven, and then they got all their memories back at the end of it. And he was in love with someone in one of the memories, in one of the past lives, and he wasn't this one. And he could remember everything and all of that, but he still couldn't feel the emotional connection. He eventually did, you know. But that's a show. It's not real life. You have to have the two main characters fall in love again, you know. But it still breaks down the idea of oneself. Knowing memories, having memories, but knowing that you did not live through them. Like, people have dreams where, you know, they remember shit that they maybe could have done and stuff like that. You know, I know what you think. I'm talking real, you know. I could have a memory of walking around a fucking shop, you know, and I know that that's not me because it was a dream. It doesn't change who I am because it was a dream. Right. Full agreement. So this person who's been born and grown up in heaven, and as you said, not me, indoctrinated into this way of life, now gets a bunch of memories from a person down there. So, like, the rite of passage from their point of view isn't getting all this past and shit and being a person. It's being given shit. In my opinion, this is torture again.
Okay, so for more on this...
it's an exact reproduction. It's genetically me, but it's not me. You can't recreate my memories.
I love where you went with it, actually, it's a slight variant of where Mark Reed and James Apperson went with it.
Sammy is trying to distract me like a motherfucker in the chat, too, because he talked to you for like 9 hours the other night. He's fucking distracting me like an asshole in the chat, but go on.
Yeah. So, I think all 3 of you guys, which you weren't there for that conversation, and that conversation is on my channel if somebody wants to go watch 2 very smart people consider exactly what you're talking about. What was the name of this show? I'll get that for you as a link. It'll be under the description of this later. But all right, so yes, it's not you, and in some ways that's kind of perfect. It would feel like once removed, like it was a movie you watched. Mm-hmm. But you would still have connection and actual recollection of the memories of it, In which case, you would have, like, in my opinion, you would have the perfect amount of empathy without suffering.
Don't like that. Thank you, Cynthia, for subscribing. No, I don't like the idea of that. No, I don't like the idea of that.
But then there's the special exception. People who didn't die went to heaven, flesh and all. Now that's really special.
Yes, but they get replicated.
Those who were died be replicated, yeah.
Right. So I go to heaven in my physical form, in my body as is now. We'll call him Earth Pig over Heaven Pig, right? The baby's Heaven Pig. Who named that in the chat? I think it was Nerdy.
Wow, this gets complicated pretty quick.
Yeah, Nerdy was all indoctrinated Heaven Pig versus Earth Pig, two different people.
Yeah, it is.
So you've then got Earth Pig, right? Different story. Earth Pig has decided, because we've already agreed, if the aliens come, I'm coming to you, right? I'd be like, phone Richard, right? So I'm coming to you. I'm going up in Earth Pig's body. I've still got my memories and shit like that, okay?
Yeah.
So I then get offered a new physical body that's not destroyed by smoking, that's at my peak at 31. Pardon? Go on ahead.
No, you do not get offered a new body.
I just get given one.
No, you just get genetically released and self-healing.
So they go into my DNA and they fuck about with my DNA.
Yeah, probably give you it's probably as simple as just drinking the water in heaven.
It's not as simple as that. Messing around with people's DNA cannot just be done like that. It must be a process where your body would have to be put into a certain way to survive. You can't just drink water and gradually change your DNA. It's not Star Trek. For you to change your
gradually,
DNA...
No, not change. Stop saying change. Release.
Yes, release. Okay, you can say release. If you have DNA code that's not activated, and I have my DNA code, and you then activate this DNA code, you have now changed who I am in my DNA.
Yes.
Thank you. So when I say change and you say activate, we mean the exact same thing. All right? I am now
fair enough.
You are changing my DNA code. DNA actually has morphological things that it shows outside. As you say, it's going to change how I react to immune and this and all the rest of it. I'm probably going to grow a foot, you know, be as big as all these other bastards. But the point is, that is not an easy process. You can't just do that with an injection or water. All right? You're going to have to be put in more technology to be looked after and go through a process. No, you just drink water.
You're objectively wrong. We have found what blocks the human DNA from fully coding. And it is a singular protein blocker that makes the train that is reading DNA skip track and go over to the next track. And there's entire loops of you not being read. And if you remove the blocker, well, it just starts coding. It just starts reading.
Yes.
And yes, that's a singular thing.
Yes, I understand that that's a singular thing, 100%. But what I'm saying to you is, when you do activate, change, whatever phrase you want to use, your DNA will then change how your body works.
Of course.
Your DNA will then change how its morphology is seen, acting, and working out. I think that's the right word. You know, it actually displays itself upon you. It's not like you just tweak it and you look the same and everything's grand. According to you, we're now going to live for longer and all these things are going to happen. These are physical changes that our body will have to go through. Regardless of just the one switch that needs to be done to activate it, it's still a process that we go through. And I do not believe under what the medical science, like with DNA, your actual DNA, if you change it, you can't just change it overnight and wake up differently. You know,
that's right. You're right. Keep going.
There has to be a process. And I do believe that process of changing your DNA on a wide scale, not like a virus or one cell, in every single cell of your body, would be a little strenuous on your body.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
So there would need to be a technology, a little cubicle that they put you in and look after you, check on you, you know.
I don't think we're going to need any special care.
Okay, right. So I then... Okay, skipping all that, right? We're just going to... We're being pedantic. We'll skip all that. I'm now Earth pig with a human pig body. Yes? Sorry. Earth pig with heaven pig body.
Yeah,
now been
which
active-
was always the potential of Earth Pig.
Which was always the potential of Earth pig. Okay. I love the way you do always put the nice in the wordage. So I'm now up there and I have these memories and I can live as long as the person who was, you know, dead 200 years ago. When they come back, we have now got the same level of body. You know, I can live forever, they can live forever.
What do you mean? I don't know. You're making it two people or something. I'm confused.
Whenever I'm born as Heaven Pig, I'm
Okay.
born with a body that is...
Choose somebody else. Where's Granny? Where's Great Granny Pig? Let's use Great Granny Pig for somebody that died, because Great Granny Pig died.
Okay. Great Granny Pig died. When Great
Yeah.
Granny Pig gets recreated as a child and goes through this
Yeah.
again, and they're now 25, 30 or whatever, their body was
Okay.
fully activated, unlocked from the get-go.
Yep.
Okay? What I'm asking is, because mine was activated and I started with a human body, is my physical body at a disadvantage to them in any way?
No, not in 7 years. In 7 years, you're fully developed, apparently.
So that DNA changing process does take 7 years.
Yeah.
There you are. Right, so it's not just drinking water and overnight. It takes a wee while.
No, it's not magic. you got to regrow yourself completely.
Right. So if we activated some of that stuff and I started to grow gills, is there mutant people on these planets, on these ships?
It's not in your DNA to grow gills.
It's not in my DNA to grow gills. Okay.
It's not in your DNA to grow gills. Sorry.
Should we go look at fetuses?
Oh, you want to get into an argument about what those gill slits really mean? I'm happy to.
I'm
That
not
has
a
everything to
biologist.
do with
Man, dude, I'm not a biologist.
that has
I'm just going-
everything to do with the parts in your inner ear that are going to develop later, and nothing to do with breathing. That's your inner ear developing on the side of your neck. They're not
You would
gills.
be a proponent of evolution, and one of the things about evolution is that we show that we move through different stages in our embryonic stages, and you
Absolutely.
being a proponent of evolution, disagree with that previous bit about us embryonics and growth.
Look, the first time we looked at it, we gave it a name. Okay? But when we were looking at it, we didn't have like genetic surveys. We couldn't watch where it moves to and what it becomes later. We couldn't do all. We called it gill slits. Well, now we're kind of stuck with the name. Not that science think those are gill slits. Science does not think that.
According to the evolutionary sort of person in the chat here, I think their exact words that Bree used was, let me see if I can say it. Embryology absolutely demonstrates gill development.
I'm sorry that you're wrong.
Okay.
It's not my fault. Go look it up. I mean, I love Bree, but this is not true.
There's a debate I will host in the new year. Is there gills in embryology? Richard v. Bree.
Okay, it's called gill slits because when we first looked at it, it looks like it's where it is on the neck, or what looks like kind
I
of is the
understand where you're
neck.
coming. Yeah.
But they're
Hey,
inner
server.
ear parts. They're parts of the inner ear. That's what they are. Has nothing to do with breathing at all.
This is funny. Bree, are you free? Do you want to jump on? Because like I'm off work now, right? Just we'll tangent a wee bit and give a wee bit of a break to this. But yeah, the Hullapalooza, the Math Minnow Palooza is happening in 2 weeks' time. Richard, I want to give you. Richard unfortunately can't come at the minute now, but there is still some slots available if people want to come. We've still got 2 slots available if people still want to come. Doing the museum and all of that. It's going to be New Year's Eve and New Year's Eve that weekend. I fly out in 2 fucking days. It's under 2 days that I fly out to America. So all you fuckers in America, you watch out. Yes, Richard?
You said there's 2 more tickets that never sold? Okay.
2 more tickets that was never sold. Yeah.
Okay.
Private chat. Yeah. Still 2 tickets that's not sold. We're only at 8 people. We've got 10. In saying that, the last 2 people that stay, the last 10 of the 10 people that can stay in the mini mansion, they're fold out sofas. So if they don't come, you know, there's a bed for you if you do, but there's more room for us if you don't. Like, you know, but there's definitely there's still 2 slots available. If anyone wants to come and do that, it's not gonna be what it was, because I'm not gonna get to grab Richard's ass. We've been looking forward to that, like, you know. And,
Next time.
Next time, yes, definitely gonna have to make this. I don't know what's every 5 years. It's not every decade, but we've only got 15 before the aliens come anyway. Richard, can we time it right? Do you get like 3 days notice or like a couple of weeks notice? Can we time
for
the
what?
invasion? For the invasion.
Oh no, you get the announcing miracles. You get 3.5 years of notice.
Oh, brilliant! So I can book a holiday and time it so that I'm with you when they arrive.
Yeah, sure. Shouldn't be
Brilliant.
Shouldn't be a problem. Of course, there's no electricity, no airplanes, no
right. Well, you see,
infrastructure, no Walmart. But
right.
yeah,
Well, I
you
want
can
to find out before all this shit. Are you getting pre-advanced warning before all of this?
Okay, all kidding aside, if K2 Pan-STARRS splits up into 6 pieces, that's a pretty good indicator it's the right object, right? We now understand that it's solar ejecta that trigger the really large seismic events like supervolcanoes. So here's where you should be looking to know when it's about to kick off. I'll just tell you straight up.
You're watching. I'm just waiting for you to call me. But
Yeah, well, I'm taking a download of an alert that appears on an app to let me know when the National Aeronautics and Astronomical Society or whatever, it's called NOAA. You can just look up NOAA, NOAAH.
Oh yeah,
or NOAA.
Yeah,
NOAA.
NOAA's very good. Even Matt Parker used NOAA the other day for electromagnetic measuring the north.
I'm sorry, my explanation happened to be halfway through when your sentence had to start. So, so go to NOAA and there's parts of NOAA. It shows solar ejecta in real time, okay, or very close to real time. So when we see one that's heading toward the Earth like a full circle, that's called a full halo. A full halo means it's gonna hit the Earth. So if we see a large full halo event happening toward the Earth, that's what's going to trigger Yellowstone. From the time we first see it to your last chance to react is somewhere between 16 and 32 hours, depending on how fast it's moving.
I am not going to be able
done.
to book a holiday in 32 hours.
Yeah, probably not. But it's enough time to go and get your supplies together and buy a tent and get out of your house.
Get to me, Maz. We've got a bunker and all at Maz. Well, it's an underground garage, but we've got the bunker and all at Maz, and we've got plenty of supplies. And we've got an old. Thomas is rebuilding at the minute. It's a 1920s old 2-stroke fucking engine, or it might even be older than that. It is some ancient freaking engine that he's building to do this thing at the house, because these engines, if they're done right, just don't stop. They just keep going. I think he told me a story of some mining place in Canada that had one of these engines running as a pump for like 20 years straight, non-stop.
Wow.
He's rebuilding it because he bought it, he tried it, and it blew up. Well, it didn't really sort of, but yeah, once it's rebuilt. But yeah, I'd be going there. Right. I need to book a holiday and come over and see you, Richard. I am sad.
And for the people who are just as crazy as me, if you want the app that tells your high-tech phone device that NOAA just caught view of a full halo ejecta toward the Earth, if you want that app, it's available on Apple App Store and blah, 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 those kinds of places. And it's called literally the Disaster App.
People in the chat are asking, why do we have to leave our houses? I think you said before it's
because of a great earthquake and your house is going to fall on your head and kill you.
I think you also said about the fact that we have to get above a northern point in the latitude because of what will happen on the Earth, and we need to get north to a certain point.
I said south.
Don't listen to me. You're all dead now.
Don't do that. MathPig's assessment of the situation. Rush to the breadbasket of the United States so you can be covered in about 10 feet of ash.
No, so I can...
That way you die quicker. Yeah, if you want to survive, if you can afford to go south of the equator, that's better. If you can be upwind of Yellowstone, but only like by a little bit, like maybe California, Colorado, New Mexico, where I am, that's pretty good plan. Yeah, because you won't get all the ash fall.
Yeah, head south then. Don't listen to me. Head south.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that yep to me or yep to the private chat?
Cigarette and then sure.
Right, cool. Right, well I think we've had a good enough time. I've had it lit up here for a while. Would anybody like to join us? Richard would probably go for a wee cigarette. As I say, I'm off for the 2nd of January.
Doesn't that claim that you weren't off before?
I was not off work. I busted myself and got my entire...
work. Sorry.
You should have seen work today, man. I had like 7 pallets up the middle of the fucking floor. People couldn't even come in with a forklift and deliver things because I was like, no, I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm getting my whole fucking week's work done so I don't have to come in and fucking Wednesday. I'm getting everything fucking done.
Good for you. Good for you arranging it to where you could do something like that.
Well, I didn't arrange my job, but I did recently get pulled aside by the owner of the whole fucking thing and tell me that what I'm doing is the best that it's been in fucking years. And just basically sat with me for 45 minutes telling me I was fantastic. So I was happy with that. But,
I bet he doesn't say that often to a lot of people.
Specifically told me not to tell the guy that used to do it.
Yeah. Hurt his little feelers.
I don't want to hurt his feelings. But, right, we've got it highlighted. I'm going to pop the link in the chat if anyone would like to. There's it in the chat. You'll pop into the back room. Richard will probably go for a smoke, which is, I think is 7 to 11 minutes, depending on the in and around that. I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. I want to thank Cynthia for being a new subscriber and everyone who's chatted in the chat and all me mods and Sammy, come on in. I know it's probably it's 11:30 in the morning for you, Sammy, if I'm right. So you should be bright and breezy. Should be able to come in and keep Richard on his toes. So yeah, links there for anyone that wants to come in, and this will probably be the last stream, I would say, until New Year's Eve. We will be live streaming the New Year's Eve party. We will be streaming the Math Minopalooza. Red's gonna bring her computer. We've got a couple of cameras, going to set one up in the kitchen, set one up in the living room on the big screen for the chat, so that people will be able to chat and we'll see it on the TV running. We'll have a wee camera set up so that people want to come in and interact with the live stream. We're going to try and make it as community based and get everybody involved.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's so sweet.
Oh, we're also going to put a fucking camera up in the hall to catch everybody falling drunk out of the bathroom. I'm not that sweet.
Still a good idea.
Yeah, that's going to be the last live stream of the year, which will be fucking not even Eastern time. It'll be an hour after Eastern. It's a weird ass midnight we'll be celebrating. So it'll be like fucking 6 in the morning for all us UK people over here that we'll be celebrating. But we'll be going for as long as we can as the party goes, and we should all be all dressed up in fancy dress, got a new waistcoat, new hat and stuff and all, like, so it should be fun, and we definitely hope to see you there. But in the next 5 minutes, 7 to 11 minutes, we will be...
You ever think about that? You ever think about that, MathPig, and try to explain it to people that the ball drop takes 24 hours?
What do you mean? Like it takes the whole world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that every Wednesday is 36 hours long. You ever try to explain that to folks?
What?
Wednesday is 36 hours. So is every
Okay,
day.
we're gonna end the stream, and you're gonna tell me about that. We're gonna use that as a starting point for the next stream.
Okay.
And yeah,
My
thanks
claim is every Wednesday takes 36 hours on this earth. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna work on that and see how that is. I think it's a numbers game you're playing, but we'll see.
No.
Right. On that note, thanks everybody for coming. I had a really good fun time tonight. Richard, it was a good show, good chat. We covered a whole of, I think, 5 verses.
That's a lot.
And it is.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I'll get, if you want to hang around in the live chat, I'll schedule an after party and poke it in here, or you can just fucking go to what's happening next. But yeah, hopefully you'll all come over. We'll all have a bit of banter. Bree's gonna come on and teach Richard about guilds. Should be fun. And,
No, she won't.
Peace and respect. Love to everybody. And if I can find the button.